Good morning. Paul is underneath our front porch. So, give a little recap. I decided I'm going to make a little video here, show what I'm doing. We have some precast concrete steps that have been shown some cracking. And the cracking got pretty severe over this past season, and you could see we had pieces that actually popped out. So I started chiseling, and what I ended up finding as I was chiseling this out, that oh, where's Paul? Paul's down there. There you are.
Dad, look what I found.
What'd you find? Oh, we got treasures.
There's stuff. There's a bunch of stuff.
It's a bunch of junk down there, probably.
I know. It's this. Oh.
So Paul's down there. So I started chiseling, and there was another crack. You could see it right along here as well. And I took my concrete chisel, went briefly right there, and the whole thing actually kind of collapsed in. So what I'm going to do is kind of show the repair procedure of what I plan on doing, just to get us through as we figure out what kind of long-term fix that we want to do for this. I think we're going to end up probably removing, yep, Paul's down there, he's commentating if you can't hear him. We're probably going to remove these steps, and here they are, and then put some sort of wood step, probably like Trex or some other composite. I wouldn't touch the bag. I'd be fearful of touching anything. Who knows how long that's been down there. So the plan is, I already started drilling some holes right in here into the concrete with some Tapcon concrete screw, and the plan is to insert some Tapcon screws in as anchor points for each one of these repair areas. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult. Ooh, you found an old chip. So this back area is going to be a little bit more difficult just because I don't have the ability to anchor the new concrete in. So I'm just going to try to get a couple in here on either side, and then with my wood form that when we go underneath, which is going to be this 2x6 that I'm going to put underneath the step. You can't see anymore. And then support it with 1x4s going vertically up. So really the big reason what I end up finding out here is that there was no support underneath this step as a whole, and typically you're supposed to put sand underneath to help support this length, which is 6 feet of a step. So I don't know, we're gonna try it in. Take some quick videos here of me drilling in the Tapcon screws, or at least drilling in the holes. Then we'll blow it out, everything with the compressor, keep everything nice and clean. Go down below, put our wood 2x4 in, or 2x6 in, and then kind of just prep to pour the concrete in. So I don't have an impact drill, and if I had an impact drill this would go a lot quicker. Okay, I drilled some holes. You can see some of the holes right there and there. What I have now is just an air compressor nozzle hose to try to clean out those holes, clean out the loose concrete. And any other debris in there. So we still got some loose stuff that we have to kind of get out here. Alright, so we got the Tapcon screws put in. You can see them there. I'm going to try to get some underneath here along this side. Hopefully I'll be able to do it with the drill. I don't know. Let's see, I got one over there, and then a bunch right in here. And again, the intent of this is to hold the concrete in place in this little patch area, because I'm worried that it's going to pop out. But again, this is just a short-term fix for a long-term problem. So eventually we'll take this out and put in steps at some point. So now we're going to go underneath and see what it looks like underneath. All right, here's underneath our porch. And I've actually never been underneath here. We've been here for 12 plus years, and so it's actually not a bad thing. Get to see underneath, see how everything looks. The wood actually looks in pretty good shape. So we're going to continue on. So you can see underneath, we actually don't have a lot of room to work with, but you can see that the step is completely unsupported for that 6 foot width, and even the side walls that were poured in place concrete are starting to show signs of wear and tear and settlement. So this was I think this was built by the previous owners, and you can tell, you know, having unsupported span like this just doesn't do well. So kind of a hodgepodge put together thing. So at some point, maybe this fall or maybe next spring, we'll break everything apart and then put in some nice, more maintainable steps. So, and you can actually see here a good crack occurring on the top step there on the bottom portion. So you can see this thing starting to fail, and you can see down below, actually in the next step, right along there, same type of similar pattern. So you look at the side wall over here, if you can see that right there, you can see a crack in the support foundation. So this looks like something that just wasn't done 100% right. And it's kind of surprising because we have a whole mess of concrete right here, or not concrete, but sand piled up. It's like, why wouldn't you push it all in there? Get it that support that it needs. They didn't for some reason. I know why, because they had to come back down underneath here to redo it. That's probably what happened. All right, let's see what we can do. All right, it's a little bit tight here, but you can see where we had the hole, I put a 2x4, or rather 2x6 up against it, and I'm taking these 2x4s, I'm going to jam them up, screw them in place. I'm actually going to sit them on the broken concrete that I had chipped out, so that they're not sitting on sand, even though sand's dry. But that's kind of the intent. Prop them up, throw a couple screws into each one to hold it in place, and then go upstairs and see how we look. All right, there we go. There is our 2x6 underneath. Try to get a little bit better shot if you can. That's rebar there, by the way, rusted rebar. And that's kind of the problem too. All right, there we go. We got our quickcrete, fast setting concrete. I kind of lightly added some water to the sides of the patch area. So now we're just going to mix up the concrete. I bought 2 50-pound bags. I think one is going to be more than enough, so I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do with the excess. And then, or the excess one that when I make it or mix it, and then we'll start pouring it in here, and hopefully soon we will be done. I am going to use a 2x4 to kind of trowel this off and sponge and try to make sure that everything kind of fits in together nice. So, and then hopefully try to fill in some of these cracks in here, and then in about a month I'll come back and I'll seal these steps with some concrete surface sealer, just to kind of button it up for the short term. There we go. We are all done. Well, not 100%, but I do have to come back. I'll clean it with a sponge and let it harden for a little bit. Then come back with some clean water and a sponge and try to get rid of some of that excess stuff that you see there, and then clean up. So, be back here in about a half hour, but I'll put away everything else.